You know things are bad in the Trump administration because Fox News can't spin it. They're giggling and laughing. The accomplishments are horrific. J.D. Vance is lying. And now we've had our first Trump firing. Let's start with, we have finally been revealed who is Big Balls.
Big Balls.
Big. That should be obvious.
Why do they call you Big Balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Couple things here. Number one, can you imagine owning a business or running a Fortune 500 company and saying, you know what, let's put Big Balls in charge and let's run around and call them Big Balls. And just imagine for a minute if Biden had an advisor at the State Department advising Anthony Blinken, his U.S. Secretary of State, named Big Balls. The meltdown, we would have to get a fire truck and 5 ambulances to get Jesse Waters and Sean Hannity to the hospital. But yet we're rolling around, we're joking. Okay, another thing. This guy says, well, I want to take chances. Everybody's so serious. Working for the government is serious. Taking people's benefits is serious. Taking food away from the most marginalized, poorest people, that's serious. Cancer research, it's serious. So we have this guy who is Elon Musk's Big Balls because he takes chances. Clearly, he's not old enough to, rent a car by himself. And we have this guy laughing it up with Elon Musk, who is just been the biggest disaster. And Jesse Waters, it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to the United States government. It's an embarrassment to every American. And just remember, Big Balls has access to every single bit of your private data. It's absolutely jaw-dropping. But here's what's even more jaw-dropping. Fox News cannot even tell you what Trump's accomplishments are. Here we have, this is what Fox News is listing. President Trump's accomplishment: declassified the JFK files, but might I remind you, not the Jeffrey Epstein files, because he's in those records. Ended federal support for paper straws. Are you fucking kidding me? And ended production of the penny. Now, they did forget he did change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. So let's add that to him. And I'm like, this writes the script for the Democrats moving forward. This is what you accomplished. You tore down the American government. You made Canada hate us, basically withdrew us from NATO. It's unbelievable. You've got China that is pissed off beyond words. We've got all these tariffs. The economy's crashing, but at least no more federal support for paper straws. And then if it's not bad enough that paper straws is our biggest accomplishment, we've got even Bret Baier. I mean, even Bret Baier, whose lips go directly on the ass of Donald Trump at every turn. He can't even hide how bad the economy is. And then it's directly to be blamed on Trump and his tariffs.
Economy shrank, first time in 3 years. People are pointing to the tariff policy. There are people looking at their 401ks that are worried. What do you tell them? Is this going to work?
So the first thing is, when you talk about the economy, this is Joe Biden's economy, and we inherited $2 trillion of debt,
in the world.
highest
Okay,
peacetime
stop.
deficits in America.
Okay, here's the deal. He inherited the best economy in the world. And the debt that Trump added in his first term is far larger than Biden. And what Trump wants to do, because he doesn't want to tax billionaires and corporations, is going to send the debt even further. That's why he's so adamant in his big, beautiful bill to lift the debt ceiling. So J.D. Vance, you're a liar. And Fox News, your viewers are finally seeing just a tiny bit of truth. I know you like to, wrap it all up, but there's a tiny bit of truth there. So next, we're going to talk about the Mike Waltz firing. It's the first one. He's the first one to go in the Trump administration. We know it's a revolving door of employees. Honestly, I'm surprised we made it through the first 100 days with the same people that started. But Mike Waltz, if you recall, is the one that invited the Atlantic reporter on the bomb war plans group chat on Signal. He does the fist bump emojis when it's talking about fighter jets. In my opinion, Pete Hegseth should have been the first to go, but I think Mike Waltz was the first to go, and I'll get into that later because he got Loomered. But here is Mike Waltz just 24 hours before he got fired, kissing Trump's ass.
President, the last 4 years, the world experienced a total lack of zero leadership under Biden, and then we've had 100 days of your leadership with respect, with strength.
I mean, you're a dumbass. You were always going to take the fall because he's too embarrassed to replace his handpicked Fox News anchor. So you're the first to go. So he's out. Here's my question. This is his guy. This is his first guy. How bad is number 2? I mean, the B team has got to be horrific if this is the A team. And Mark Kelly, I thought he had some great thoughts. Remember, he's military. He knows this stuff. Astronaut, former military, U.S. Senator. Here's from Mark Kelly on the firing of Mike Waltz.
Hey, everybody. Today, the president fired Mike Waltz, the national security advisor. I think they fired the wrong guy. They should have fired Pete Hegseth for his sharing of information, classified and sensitive information on that signal chain. But what really worries me here is, why did Mike Waltz get fired? Laura Loomer, internet troll, is claiming credit for this. Does she now get a say as to who our next national security advisor is? If that's the case, I think we should all be very, very concerned.
And I just want to remind you that Laura Loomer is a right-wing conspiracy theorist. I'm going to get to what she said, but let's recall for a second that the National Security Advisor position is extremely important, especially when we've got the issues in Gaza, the issues in Yemen, the issues in Ukraine, the created issues with Canada. So he says, and this tells you how little respect Trump has for little Marco Rubio. He has so little respect for him because he knows Big Balls is in charge, that he says, oh, we'll just put Mike Waltz over at the United Nations, which he dumped Elise Stefanik. She was going to get that. She sold her soul for that position. She didn't get it. We're going to put Mike Waltz at the United Nations. And then we're going to give little Marco national intelligence. We're going to replace National Security Advisor Michael Waltz with Marco Rubio, which tells you he doesn't give a shit about national security. He doesn't give a shit about expertise because he has demeaned and emasculated little Marco at every turn. So this is terrifying. But what Mark Kelly is referencing here on the Loomer, I'm going to play you a clip. She was on a podcast, and here is what Laura Loomer said about national security and what she conveyed to Trump.
The other week, when you were able to, basically put in some suggestions that President Trump fire the national security apparatus, and your input outweighed the national security advisor, Mike Waltz. Did you express any concerns to him about Mike Waltz?
My concern was, if Michael Waltz is the NSC director and or the NSC advisor, and he is saying that he's personally vetting these individuals who have a history of anti-Trump remarks and anti-Trump associations, why would he be signing off on them? And then it reminded me of a video that I've saved in my phone for many years of Michael Waltz on video speaking out against President Trump when he first ran for president, accusing him of being against service members. And so, I was about to show this video to President Trump, and then Michael Waltz, walked into the Oval Office. I could play the video. It just makes me wonder.
So when you went to that meeting,
play the video. Let's just play the video.
He essentially called anyone who was captured in combat a loser. It's something that I just personally can't stomach.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
Don't let Trump fool you. look into his real record and stop Trump now.
He essentially called anybody captured in combat a loser. It's something that I just personally, can't stomach. So if you can't stomach it, why do you want to work for President Trump? If you can't stomach it, why do you want to work in the administration?
My question to Laura Loomer is, why can she stomach that? Why can she stomach the president of the United States calling captured military members losers? I mean, why can anybody stomach that? Why can all these national security, rah, USA, hump the American flag patriots stomach that? It is so gross and disrespectful. And here, yesterday, after the firing of Michael Waltz, here's what we had. Laura Loomer.
Before we came on, I literally got a text from Laura Loomer saying, loomered.
I mean,
A verb.
A verb,
so
now a verb.
But she's verbing herself?
She's verbing herself,
Okay.
yes.
So Laura Loomer, she is responsible for eating the cats, eating dogs. She got the national security advisor fired. Everyone should be terrified. Furthermore, everyone should be terrified that the reason Mike Waltz got fired was because he said anti-Trump things a while back. Well, he's incompetent. That's A. But the allegiance of these secretaries and the president of the United States, for that matter, should be to the United States. And it's always to Trump, because this is fascism. This is authoritarianism. Stick with us. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers, and we'll have more news soon.